All right, our next speaker of the day is a Bosnian-American scientist, megalithic and pyramid sites researcher, internationally acclaimed speaker, and author of 18 books on ancient civilizations. He wrote and narrated the 12-episode documentary Search for Lost Civilization for the state television of Bosnia and Herzegovina in 2007, and is the founder of the Archaeological Park Bosnian Pyramid of Bosnia and Herzegovina, which many scientists claim are the largest and oldest man-made structures in the world. Since 2005, he has served as the project's principal investigator. Please join me in welcoming Semir Osmanagić.
Thank you, MC. Nancy, Adnan, thank you for having me here. Thank you, everyone, for coming. My name is Dr. Semir Osmanagić, and for the last 40 years, I have been researching pyramids and megalithic sites around the world. And I have concluded that almost everything they teach us about the ancient history is wrong. The origin of man, civilizations, and pyramids. 165 years ago, this was the look of the most famous pyramid in Mexico, Pyramid of the Sun, in the city of Teotihuacan, the place where people became gods in a Nahuatl language, completely covered by soil and vegetation. 75 years were needed for the archaeologists from Mexico and the United States to completely uncover it. And this is how it looks like today. One of the most impressive architectural designs from the ancient times. 120 pyramids in southwestern corner of the state of Illinois. They call them Cahokia Mounds, completely covered by soil and grass. One of thousands of pyramids in the state of Mexico, La Venta, covered by vegetation. I've learned that actually majority of the pyramids in the world are covered by soil and vegetation. Only those in Egypt and Peru are visible because of the climate, dry, sunny, no rain, no greenery. In April of 2005, exactly 20 years ago, while I was living in Houston, Texas, I came to visit a small town in Bosnia called Visoko, half an hour drive from the capital city of Sarajevo, to visit the local museum. And then I saw this. Everybody called it Natural Hill because it is covered by forest, which was planted back in 1960s and 1970s, bushes, and soil. But I was looking at the geometry. 4 sides, 4 triangular faces, 4 corners, the same slope from bottom to the top. Geometrically speaking, this is 4-sided pyramid. I took compass, and compass showed me that this side is perfectly aligned with the true north. This one here, east, west, and south. Mother Nature does not make hills with 4 sides, 4 triangular faces, 4 corners, and perfect orientation to the cardinal points, but intelligent hands. However, after thousands of years, wind and rain and seeds and dirt, we have this scenario. We've been programmed to think about the pyramids in terms of Egypt, desert, pharaohs, tombs. Let's deprogram ourselves. That year, I asked for the permission to do some preliminary digging, and I got it from the Ministry of Culture. 2005, it was a one-man show. Everything we did, archaeological digging, geological core drilling, lab analysis, they were telling me anomalies, anomalies. I wrote the book, and I had a big press conference in the city of Sarajevo in October of 2005. I announced the news to the world that first pyramids in Europe have been discovered. I named the big one the Bosnian Pyramid of the Sun. At that time, I knew for one more, which I named the Bosnian Pyramid of the Moon, and in the last 20 years, we discovered 4 more, total of 6. I went to the Department of Archaeology, University of Sarajevo, and I offered them to collaborate on this project. They refused. They said, we know every square foot of Bosnia, we don't have pyramids. Well, Bosnia is a hilly country with a lot of greenery and forests. We actually do not know 95% what is under the soil. I went to the National Museum and I got the answer, oh, we never had pharaohs in Bosnia, therefore we cannot have pyramids. I realized that these people live in the 19th century. So I established non-profit, non-government foundation under the name Archaeological Park, Bosnian Pyramid of the Sun Foundation. And we started work. 3 to 4 feet under the soil, we are discovering corner between north and east when we removed 3 foot of soil. And then a lot of construction material. We can see blocks, 3 to 4 feet. This is our archaeological trench number 4C. You see, we remove the soil and we expose those big blocks. This one is 13 feet long, 5 feet wide, 1.5 thick. It has 7 tons, 16,000 pounds. Flat top, break at 90 degrees, flat side, break at 90, flat, 6 flat sides, 6 breaks at 90 degrees. Mother Nature does not make blocks like this one here, but intelligent hands. Next to this one is another one, and another one. And below is the second row of blocks, and the third, and the fourth. 1, 2, 3, 4. Mother Nature does not construct, but intelligent hands. We took samples from the blocks, total of 50, and sent them to 7 institutes for materials. And they all told us that it was an artificially made concrete. When you have concrete, you can determine the quality of the concrete based on 2 elements. The first one is hardness. Harder the concrete, more durable, better quality. Our concretes today are on the scale from 10 to 60 megapascals. 60 made in Germany, made in the US, the best quality. And the concretes from the Bosnian Pyramid of the Sun from 73 to 155. In 21st century, we do not have technology to make such good quality concrete. The second element for the quality is water absorption. If water can get inside the concrete during the winter time, it freezes. And the ice has a tendency to expand, and concrete breaks. Our norms for concrete up to 3% of water absorption. This one from the pyramid, only 1% superior. This is the best quality concrete ever. So far, we have uncovered thousands of tons of this concrete. Today, we used cement as a binder. They did not have it, nor they needed it. They used this brownish material, melted clay. How did they melt it? I know how we would do it. High temperature and high pressure. How did they change the molecular structure? I don't know. But it turns out that this clay was much better binder than cement today. From day one, I've been attacked by the cultural establishment from Bosnia and worldwide. The Bosnian government never extended any money for our research. But since we had organization which was registered for archaeological research, they were giving me permissions. So I had to be creative. I opened the project for the volunteers from all over the world. You can see some of them helping us removing the soil and exposing the structure. Concrete blocks, some of them reaching 42 tons. And more concrete blocks. And more in 2 rows. 32 degrees slope. Bottom left is what we have today, the green pyramid. And if we just change the color from green to the color of concrete, keeping the same shape and geometry, this is exactly what we're going to get. The original look of the Bosnian Pyramid of the Sun, thousands of years back. From this point up, it's 220 meters, about 750 feet. The Great Pyramid of Egypt, 146. However, in order to get the precise height of the pyramid, we employed a new technology called LiDAR technology. What you do, you have a plane with a laser machine hitting the laser rays to the ground. And those rays are going in between the trees and the leaves, hitting the ground. Once you have enough point, then you can make the look without the greenery and the forests and without houses. So this is the look of the Bosnian Pyramid of the Sun. 220 meters starts from here. However, we can see clearly that this corner goes all the way to the bottom of the valley. This is the eastern slope, and this is the northern slope. So the real height of the Bosnian Pyramid of the Sun is 368 meters, more than 1,300 feet, 2.5 times higher than the Great Pyramid of Egypt. In the last 20 years, we have discovered 6 pyramids: Pyramid of the Sun, Moon, Dragon, Love, Temple of Mother Earth, and the 6th pyramid, and huge network of underground tunnels. So far, we discovered entrances to 7 prehistorical tunnels, clearing 2 miles. The Bosnian Pyramid of the Moon, with its height of 190 meters, which is 650 feet, is also bigger than the Great Pyramid of Egypt, completely covered by forest and vegetation. We have cleared a total of 64 sections, archaeological trenches, and wherever we were digging, we were finding terraces, steps, shaped blocks and plates, more stairs. A huge construction made from sandstone, placed in combination with clay. These are volunteers and archaeologists at work on one of the trenches, exposing beautifully shaped blocks in 3 rows. When we started discovering those pyramids, many geologists from around the world starting saying from their cozy chairs, from their offices, never coming to Bosnia, it's all natural. It's a classical example of natural hill. Natural? I don't think so. The problem is the consequences. The biggest pyramids on the planet in little Bosnia. And not under control of elites, but non-profit, independent foundation. And now we are at the top of the Bosnian Pyramid of the Moon. We removed 4 feet of soil, exposing the first terrace and the second and the third. Then we cut the hole to see how the profile looks like. First row of blocks, layer of clay. Second row of blocks, layer of clay, the same thickness. Third row of blocks, layer of clay. Clay was used as the binder and thermal insulation. 3 major pyramids in Bosnia. The Bosnian Pyramid of the Sun, this one right here. Moon, when we connect their tops from sun to the moon, 2.2 kilometers, 1.4 miles. From the moon to Dragon, 2.2. From Dragon to the sun, 2.2. So, they form 2.2 kilometers equilateral triangle. Mother Nature does not make hills with 4 sides, 4 triangular faces, 4 corners, perfect orientation, concrete blocks, and then to put them in the ratio of the equilateral triangle. Traveling the world, investigating pyramids, I realized that most of them are oriented to the true north, cosmic north. In China, 250 pyramids, I'll be talking about them tomorrow, all oriented to the north. Indonesia, Gunung Padang, north. Cambodia, Khokher Pyramid, north. Nubian pyramids in Sudan, north. All Egyptian pyramids, north. Peruvian, Cahokia. The best orientation so far was the northern side of the Great Pyramid of Egypt, with the error of 0 degrees and 3 minutes. Now, imagine the length at the base of Great Pyramid, 230 meters. It is like 2 football stadiums. And the error to the perfect north, 0 degrees and 3 minutes. Egyptian pyramid builders were genius. The second one, Khafre, 0 degrees 3 minutes. The third one, Mykarinos, 0 degrees 18 minutes. The fourth one, Red Pyramid in Dakshur, 0 degrees 5 minutes. Bent Pyramid in Dakshur, 0 degrees 12 minutes. Perfect. 3 engineers of geodesy came from the State Institute for Geodesy from Bosnia. They brought scientific instruments. They call them total stations. And they've done the measurements of the northern face of the Bosnian Pyramid of the Sun. The error from the perfect north, 0 degrees, 0 minutes, and only 12 seconds. This is the most precise on the planet. And the length at the base is 5 football stadiums. How would we do it today? The next element, ley lines, underground energy lines. This is the map of the Southern Europe, state of Croatia, Republic of Serbia, Montenegro, and heart-shaped Bosnia. The red lines are ley lines, going north-south, east-west, and diagonal. And most of them are intersecting right here. You zoom it out, it's right here. To the right is the capital city of Sarajevo, so it's not there. It's right here, the town of Visoko, the place where the pyramids were located. How did they know? Astronomical features, very important for ancient builders. When you climb the top of the Bosnian Pyramid of the Sun in the middle of the summer, and you watch the movement of the shadow of the Pyramid of the Sun, here it is. It's going towards the western slope of the Pyramid of the Moon. Afternoon, and the second slide is showing just before the sunset. The shadow completely covers the Moon Pyramid, and top of the shadow touching the top of the Moon Pyramid. The message from the builders is the rule of the day and the sun is over, and the rule of the night and the moon starts. The most important day for the ancients, and it should be for us also, is the summer solstice, June 21st. The day when the daylight is the longest, the day when the sun rays are the strongest, and when our mother planet is the healthiest. On that day, again, we are on the top of the Bosnian Pyramid of the Sun, looking the movement of the shadow just before the sunset, just before the shadow disappears. The shadow comes from the right side, from south side, from the western slope of the Moon Pyramid. The top of the shadow, exactly the same height like the top of the Moon Pyramid, and the shadow touches the foundation of the Moon Pyramid, telling us you calculate the height from here. Genius. Now, you've heard about the claim that the 3 Egyptian pyramids at the Giza Plateau matches the layout of 3 stars of the Orion Belt, promoted by Robert Boual from Belgium, beginning of 1990s, later on accepted by Graham Hancock and Robert Schoch. Maybe. I'm not an astronomer, but what I know is that the third star is always a little bit off. So it is possible that the builders were also looking at the sky and the layout of certain stars. In the case of the Bosnian pyramids, it's a little bit more obvious. 4 pyramids match 4 out of 7 stars of Pleiades. Our late friend from UK Dr. Harry Oldfield developed a special technology. It's called PIP camera, with which we were able to see the energy fields which are not visible to the naked human eye. On this photo, we can see pointy natural hill in Bosnia. And above, we can see horizontal energy fields. We can see green and red and blue and green and rose. They are all horizontal. This is a village in Serbia. Houses are down here. And those fields, horizontal, green, red, green, blue, red, green. This is my favorite place in this country. Sedona, the famous red rocks. And this is the most famous one, the Bell Rock. It even looks like a step pyramid. Now, you see behind, horizontal energy fields. And this is the Bosnian Pyramid of the Sun. All the energy fields are vertical. I purchased this camera and I'm taking my photos everywhere I go. Egypt or Jordan or South Africa or America, Europe, China, all the countries. Wherever you go, cities, villages, valleys, seas, rivers, always horizontal. Here, vertical. This is from 2015. And this is from 2007, when Dr. Oldfield himself made not only a photo, but also a video. So down below, we can see some of the buildings in the town of Visoko. This is the Pyramid of the Sun. And look at the red color. It's the energy. It's getting accumulated. You see, more and more red. Now everything is red. And this energy is getting out through the top of the pyramid, hitting those energy fields. And from horizontal, they become vertical. So as early as 2007, we knew that the Bosnian Pyramid of the Sun was energetically active, whatever that meant. But I want to show you something else. You see this thermal signature here, which is totally different, and you see the shape? It's coming down to the pyramid. It's elongated shape, obviously it's a spaceship. And now it will be getting out. Here it is. For me, it came to the gas station and then left. This is panoramic photo. The town of Visoko is to the right. See the buildings? This is hotel. Horizontal energy fields. The moment we come to the Bosnian Pyramid of the Sun and the Pyramid of Love, we got vertical fields. We got energetically active pyramids. No one in the pyramid science ever done anything similar. So we have checked the other pyramids. The Bosnian Pyramid of the Moon. The same thing. 2011, 2015. Vertical energy fields. Pyramid of the Dragon. Here it is. Vertical. Pyramid of Love. This one right here. This one right here. Vertical. Temple of Mother Earth. Here it is. Vertical fields. Since I've been taking people to Egypt every December, I took my camera, and this is the second largest pyramid, which is called Khafre or Khafre's pyramid, even though the pyramid has nothing to do with the ruler from the 4th dynasty. Look from the right. We did have horizontal field. The moment it's coming closer to the pyramid, they become vertical. From the left, horizontal, becoming vertical. I was very excited about this 10 years ago. So what I did, I prepared a report, I sent it to my colleagues, Egyptologists, archaeologists, and geologists from University of Cairo, University of Ain Shams from Cairo, and University of Alexandria. And they answered me the same thing. They said, we don't care about the energy. Those pyramids are tombs, and that's it. This is not a science. A science has to be open for the new information, for the new knowledge. Just 4 days ago, I was in Bulgaria. And this is one of the very interesting, I call it energy hill, Kožuh, energy hill. The white thing, these are the clouds. But we can see the same thing, which tells me that there are many more energetically active, either modified hills or the structures below the soil around the planet. How old are Bosnian pyramids? They are covered by soil. The science that investigates the soil is called pedology. In Bosnia, we have Institute for Pedology. They took samples from the Sun and the Moon pyramid, concluding that the age of the soil is about 12 to 15,000 years. So if the soil, the coverage is 15,000 years, it means that the structure below is much older. And then, this is our archaeological manager, Tim Moon from New Zealand, and our volunteer from Canada. Once we remove the soil from one of the trenches, below the first row of blocks, right here, and above the second one, like in the sandwich, we discovered organic material. We discovered fossilized leaves. Why they are so important? The pyramid builders were pouring the first row of concrete, the second layer, the third layer. The wind was blowing, bringing those leaves, and then they placed the final row of concrete. But those leaves are organic material. You can date them, and you can get exact age of the pyramid construction. We did radiocarbon dating, and the radiocarbon date is 29,200 years plus minus 400 years before present. This is so-called radiocarbon date. In order to get the calibrated date or calendar age, you are adding for roughly 14%. So the true age of the Bosnian Pyramid of the Sun is 33,600 years. And what we're going to do now. The first pyramids in Europe, the biggest on the planet, the most precise orientation to the north on the planet, the best quality concrete on the planet, and now the oldest pyramids ever. We need to change all the history books, not only in a small Bosnia, or our neighbors, Croatia, Serbia, or Germany, UK, France, US, everywhere. You know how many books we would need to print? Ozark publishing would not be enough to cover all of that. Well, if you need to change the history, so what? Let's change it. But it seems that the establishment is not ready. So what do? They do everything to disqualify you. Since the elites control the history, and those who control the history control the present. Since they control also all the so-called media, actually propaganda, and all the major websites, including this one here. What does Wikipedia say about our project? The Bosnian pyramids are pseudo-archaeological claim. Claim. You know, when you claim something, it comes from one man. This is a huge project that lasts for 20 years. But they are saying it's a pseudo-archaeological claim promoted by author, this guy right here, that the cluster of natural hills in central Bosnia are human-made ancient pyramids. However, geologists, archaeologists, and other scientists have concluded there are no signs of human construction. Maybe they are right about this human construction deal. All the Bosnian archaeologists, historians, museum curators, geologists, the State Commission for the Protection of National Monument, the Federal Institute for National Monument, Minister for Culture for 8 years, writers, journalists, and so on, they were against, mocking me publicly for the first couple of years. When they did not succeed, they asked help from the others. Among them, the man who pretended to be the most knowledgeable Egyptologist in the world, Dr. Zahi Hawass from Egypt. For 20 years, he was the major figure in the world of Egyptology. All sites were controlled by him. He wanted to get inside the pyramid during the evenings, the money goes to him. You want to film the documentary, 50,000 goes to him, and he becomes the main actor. So Zahi, who never came to Bosnia, even though we invited him 3 times, he said, first of all, he said, that guy Osmanagich, my last name is Osmanagich, he said, Osmanagich is hallucinating. He said, it was impossible that those pyramids exist there because the human being could not move 40 tons. Oh, really? How did they move 220 tons in the second largest Egyptian pyramids, Khafre pyramids? How did they move 375-ton obelisk in Luxor? How did they intend to move unfinished obelisk in Aswan? 1,450, not 1,250 like Wikipedia claims. So Proto-Egyptians could move, and Proto-Bosnians could not, for some reason. Director of the Council for British Archaeology, Dr. Mike Hayward, bottom left, and Professor Partzinger, the leader of German Archaeological Institute, who never came to Bosnia, issued a statement that this pyramid scheme is a cruel hoax on an unsuspecting public. So the public was not expecting that somebody is going to say something like, oh, there are pyramids in Bosnia. Poor public. Now, independent researchers, Dr. Robert Schock from college, which is part of Boston University, he said there are no pyramids in Bosnia. Geological processes. Osmanagich started the project because of his future engagement in politics. This state, well, being a politician in Bosnia is very lucrative because of a lot of corruption. Well, this statement was from 2006, from 20 years ago, and I'm still not in politics. There are other ways to help your country. I'm doing that through the discoveries and protection of the cultural heritage. He also said, and his desire to make money. Well, of course, you need money to pay bills. But for 29 years, I had my business in Houston, Texas. And I have been the biggest donor from day one. And finally, that the project was a fiasco. Well, that fiasco has become the most active archaeological site in the world. Andrew Collins never came to Bosnia. I'm extremely skeptical. David Hatcher Childers, not convinced. And the most intelligent among them all, Graham Hancock. I do not find the site to be good evidence for a lost civilization. Well, maybe he's right. This civilization is not lost anymore. Dr. Brian Stewart, University of Michigan, never been to Bosnia. There were very worrying reports that he and his team have essentially sculpted the sides of these natural hills into something they think resembles pyramids. We sculpted the biggest pyramid on the planet, but into something that we think, meaning we're not quite sure. So when did we do that? Probably at one dark night, when everybody was sleeping, starting around midnight. By 4 o'clock, we were done sculpting, and then we placed 3 pyramids, perfect triangle. And in the meantime, we made about 50 million tons of the best quality concrete, hiding it under 3 feet of soil. Yeah, and planted the trees, overnight. But the problem with these people is that they are very influential. They have access to media, to the official sites, institutes, university, academia. Now let's be serious and let's apply science. Let's see what is the purpose of pyramids. Archaeologists cannot help us. Geologists, historians, anthropologists. Why? Because nobody's teaching them about the true purpose of pyramids. In Egypt, they are saying, find ceramic and primitive tools and you're going to explain how the pyramid was built and by who. Well, that's the reason why we invited actually to this project experts from different fields. First classical, of course, archaeology, Egyptology, geology, paleontology, biology. Then high-tech, georadar, satellite, geothermal. Then dating methods. We've done 28 radiocarbon dating, 13 luminescence analysis, and 7 uranium-thorium analysis. And above all, experts in energy phenomena. The real scientists, people with the scientific instruments. Because if you can measure, you can scientifically prove. And the beauty of what we do, everything is measurable. I mentioned the orientation and quality of concrete and the age. It's all measurable. Team from Croatia, physicists and engineers, brought their scientific instruments, Gauss mirror, EMF, oscilloscope, spectrometer. And they realized that on the top of the Bosnian Pyramid of the Sun, there was the presence of energy beam, which was 4.5 meter diameter, 28 kilohertz frequency. And then we had a team from Serbia, engineer Goran Marjanovic brought his equipment, and he confirmed this measurement 3 months later, 28 kilohertz. And then we had a team from Finland, sound engineer Heikki Savolainen, Professor De Bertolis, University of Trieste, Italy, Croatia, Germany, Professor Konstantin Mail. They all got the same results. When in science you have 5 independent international teams coming from 5 different countries, coming at 5 different periods, bringing their own scientific equipment, calibrated, precise, and they all get the same results. It is called an international scientific verification of the phenomenon. Which phenomenon? This right here. Energy beam going through the top of the Bosnian Pyramid of the Sun, which is 13 feet in diameter, 28 kilohertz frequency, electrical in nature, ultrasound in nature. It's continuous because we measure it in summer and fall and winter and spring and day and the night. Mother Nature does not make four-sided pyramidal hills with the concrete and the tunnels below and other pyramidal structures and energy beam like this one. We measure natural hills, we don't have that beam. You have to have not only a pyramid, but more than that, something that has to do with the energy. We measure this energy beam during an interesting astronomical phenomenon. It was the moon eclipse from July 27, 2018. We measured it during the daytime, before the eclipse, a regular strength of the signal, and in the evening, during the eclipse, between 9:15 and 10:30 p.m., and the signal during the eclipse. And not only the eclipse, that was a rare astronomical phenomenon, where 5 bodies were lined up. We have the sun, we have the Venus, we have the Earth, we have the moon, and we have the Mars. And the signal was 2 times stronger. Obviously, there is a very powerful influence of other objects in the space. And then we measure the ultrasound. On the very top, in that energy beam, ultrasound is something that we cannot hear. We hear 20 hertz to 20 kilohertz, about 20 kilohertz ultrasound. But we can measure it using scientific instruments. And then what we did, once we measured 28 kilohertz frequency ultrasound, we converted it to something that we can hear, 8 kilohertz. And now for the first time in your life, you will hear how the pyramid speaks. American researcher Ralph Frink was playing with different frequency of the ultrasound. First the sound, very high, pitch, 15, 18, 20 kilohertz, 22, he could not hear no more, 25. He came to 28. He had ping pong, table tennis balls above the speaker. And at this particular frequency, the ball started levitating. So 28 kilohertz frequency is the frequency of the levitation. And we measure it on the top of the pyramids and in the tunnels. And when you walk through the tunnels, you feel light. You are exposed to the levitation frequency. And then we measure the strength of the signal. Here, at the top of the pyramid, on the ground, 10 feet higher, another 10 feet higher. So, on the ground, 28 kilohertz, 1.9 volt, the voltage, the strength. 10 feet higher, 28 kilohertz, the same frequency, but 2 times stronger. And another 10 feet, again, 2 times stronger. Now, this is not very logical. If you have source of the energy inside the pyramid or below the pyramid, you would expect, as you move away from the pyramid, that it's getting weaker and weaker and weaker, and then it disappears. But since everything is upside down in Bosnia, our pyramids work differently. You move away from the top, the signal is getting stronger and stronger and stronger. In science, this phenomenon is called the scalar waves, or non-Hertzian waves, or Tesla's energy. The genius of Nikola Tesla, 125 years ago, was investigating those subtle types of energies. And he concluded that non-Hertzian waves move quicker than the speed of light. Or to be more precise, information within scalar waves move quicker than the speed of light. Or to be even more precise, for the non-Hertzian Tesla's waves, the time does not exist. Once they are created on one point in the galaxy, you can measure its presence on the other end of the galaxy. His research was backed up by Russian physicists in the last 50 years. Now, this is the Wardenclyffe Tower in the state of New York, built by Tesla. This is not me. 125 years back, Tesla was doing several experiments, and he came to his mecena, super billionaire, J.P. Morgan, with the news. He said, I found a way to move unlimited quantities of energy from one planet to another, regardless of their distance. And J.P. Morgan said, well, if you found a way for the free transportation of energy, why would I be interested? How can I make money? Tesla had the noble goal to find clean, unlimited, and free energy. But those monsters, Rockefeller, J.P. Morgan, DuPont, Rothschild Frankfurt, Rothschild Paris, Rothschild London, Rothschild Barcelona, Rothschild Napoli, had another plan. Instead of clean, what we've been having in the last 150 years is dirty industry that contaminates coal, oil, nuclear, limited, so they can sell it to us for a lot of money, making them extremely rich, 3,000 super billionaires, which is only 0.0025% of population, holding 90% of all the resources on this planet. And 90% of us struggling, paying bills from the first of the month to the next first of the month. But the time will come when the free energy will be available to all of us. And that will be the first pillar of free society. And the second pillar, instead of unfair distribution of the planetary resources, once we get to the fair distribution, with those two pillars, we're going to have society of free women and free men. Amen. It's not only the Bosnian pyramids that's been energetically active. This is the Kukulkan pyramid in the Mayan city of Chichen Itza. Just before the storm, the tourist from El Salvador was filming his family, and he filmed the energy beam. The year 2007. After this photograph, Mexican government forbid people to climb the pyramid. Before that, you could climb, like I've done several times. After that, not anymore. Why? Maybe because they wanted to prevent some irresponsible engineer with the scientific instruments to measure the energy beam of this pyramid. This is the Pyramid of the Moon in the city of Teotihuacan in Mexico, the second largest pyramid, and the energy beam. Why do they hide this technology from us? Go back to Bosnia. We sent a drone above the pyramid with several instruments to measure magnetic field, electrical field, ultrasound, infrasound, electromagnetism, orgone energy, and temperature. And we are sending the drone 3 times a day, morning, noon, afternoon. This is the measurement from the afternoon. What we could see is that this energy beam is actually not exactly at 90 degrees going up. In the morning, it's moved a little bit to the east. This is where the sun rises. At the noontime, south. This is where the sun is exactly during the noontime. Afternoon, like this one, it's a little bit to the southwest. And evening, west. So, this energy beam follows the path of our sun. Is it possible that our planet communicates with our only star, the sun? It is possible. Is it possible that it uses sun as the cosmic gate so we can communicate with other star constellations? Technically, probably yes. And with other galaxies? Maybe. But the pyramids are not only transmitters. They act as the antennas. They receive the information. So it's two-way information and energy flow. I mentioned that non-Hertzian waves had been measured on the Bosnian pyramids. Why is that important? 100 years ago, Albert Einstein said that the biggest speed in the universe is the speed of light. And indeed, 180-something thousand miles per hour. In 1 second, the speed of light goes 7.5 times around our planet, if it is a planet. But if you send the light to the sun, it takes 8 minutes. If you send it to the northern star, 700 years. If you send it to the center of our galaxy, Milky Way, 30,000 years. If you send it to the center of the universe, where one old guy in the white robe with a long white beard is sitting, being very busy, creating planets and suns and the different life forms and different galaxies and different universes. It takes 5 billion years from our planet, speed of light, to the center of the universe. Now, if you are a creator, all those planets and forms of life, they are your children. You want to know in real time, right now, what's happening there. You don't have a luxury to wait 5 billion years. And the speed of non-Hertzian waves is more than 100 million times bigger than the speed of light. How do pyramids work? We have this energy beam. Looks like double DNA spiral. You have to have a resonator. The pyramids are #1 resonator. They resonate. The planet has its own resonance, 7.83 Hertz, original Schumann resonance. The bigger the pyramid, the bigger the resonator. Now, there are several more conditions. You have to have energy potent place. You have to have natural sources of energy. Below our pyramid, we have underground water flow. Water moves, it releases negative ions. Pyramids amplify the concentration of negative ions. In the case of the Bosnian pyramid, There are two underground water flows, 21 meters, 70 feet, and 170 feet below the pyramid. Between the two, we have a charge, which creates voltage, which creates electricity. The pyramid pulls this electricity up. It's getting through the network of tunnels and going through the top of the pyramid as the electrical energy beam. During the excavation, we discovered a lot of quartz crystal on the pyramid and in the tunnels. And the quartz crystal has the ability to amplify the energy and to transform the energy from one form, in our case, electromagnetic field, to another one, through the piezoelectrical effect, to ultrasound. And we measure both electromagnetic field and the ultrasound, 28 kilohertz frequency. How did we get electromagnetism? Below the pyramid, huge iron plate. Iron creates electromagnetism. That's why the locations of the pyramids are so crucial. This is a little experiment done by Dr. D. J. Nelson. The pyramid, Tesla's coil inside, and energy beam. And he filmed it through the Killian photography. So, answering the first question about the purpose of pyramids. The pyramids are energy amplifiers. They create energy beams, which is ideal for long distance communication. Not AT&T long distance from Arkansas to Texas, but long distance in the universe. And this is the technology that we do not have today. The future of the science is in the balance, in the combination of physical and spiritual science. We have to be open for spirituality. One form of the spirituality is to talk to the people who call themselves Akashic record readers. You go to them, you lay on the couch, then you can ask questions, about yourself in the previous lives. The person put hands around your head and start telling you. For example, in Houston we have many of those Akashic record readers. So what they do, they tell you, all right, I can see now. In the previous life, you were Cleopatra. And of course, you're very happy. You say, of course, I was Cleopatra, the most beautiful woman ever. And then you go home. And then you share the experience with the artificial intelligence, ChatGPT or whatever platform you use. You tell, hey, in the previous life, I was Cleopatra. And in less than 2 seconds, ChatGPT is telling you, well, that's great. However, there are 3 more persons who has the same readings. One is Canada, another one is Singapore, another one is South Africa. So no, I have to be close. The problem with the spirituality is how you can independently verify those information. So what I did in one of my books, which is called Ancient History from Beyond the Veil, I assigned the scientific protocols to the area of spirituality. I talked not to one Akashic record reader, but to 6 of them. And the protocols were, instead of my personal life, I was going to talk about the mysterious archaeological sites around the world, from Machu Picchu, Peru, Bolivia, Central America, pyramids in Egypt, in China, Bosnia, and so on. I prepared a little presentation, a photo, with the name of the site. 5 same questions for all of them. What, who, when, how, and why. They did not know me. They did not know about the Bosnian Pyramid project. They did not each other, and they were not able to communicate to each other after the reading. So, One of the 25 questions was about the Bosnian pyramids. So my question was, what can they tell me about the Bosnian Pyramid of the Sun? Reader number 1, they are constructed for the purpose of rejuvenation and clearing, place to be strengthened and cleared. Number 2, this was a gold-colored structure. They purposely built it as the biggest. It has to do with the location. Number 3, they were built using vibrational techniques. They were pulling things up out of the earth, formed it, and slid into the place. There are 14 chambers, and they have to do with the sacred geometry frequency, and I'll talk about it tomorrow. There is an energy that comes right straight down the middle of the pyramid. It's the energy you can't stop. This was done in January of 2010. My first energy measurements by physicists and engineers were done 3 months later, thanks to this reading. Reason number 4, you will run into energy when you get to the center. It's like a beam of light that goes to the center of it. The energy field is very powerful, 6 to 10 feet in diameter. We measured about 13 feet. The pyramid was the most important to them because it housed their energy power source. Reason number 5. This was built with the help of higher vibrational energies. Aha! UFO. Obviously, we are lower vibrational energies. Of course we are, because we are on this particular planet. But the time will come to progress. But it was built by the higher vibrational energies. They had a spiritual advancement as opposed to a scientific one. The pyramid receives information, and you are not completely aware of that. There is a connection between the pyramids here and all others around the world. Number 5 still. Inside is energy and something metal in the ground. Iron plate. There is something there that is very unusual. It receives and magnifies energy, which we have proven later on. Then it is transmitted outward from the pyramid. So you see how we combine real spirituality and the science, physical science. There are more formations of stone beneath the pyramid. It feels like crystal or quartz crystal. Of course, energy amplifiers. Reason number 6, the pyramid builders came from places that had pyramids. You'll hear tomorrow a story about the Chinese pyramids, how they came from the other place and they continued tradition on this particular planet. Migrated here and continued the tradition. And then finally they left them. Pyramid energy has been misused. You can use it, you can misuse it. Positive, negative purposes. The pyramid energy was like a beacon, a transmitter. It was not their intention to be tombs. This energy cannot be monitored today, and I agree with that. Since we don't know what to measure, we have not developed all the scientific instruments to measure all the energy forms. This energy goes up beyond the stars, feeding other solar systems. They are not just for this planet. And this kind of intrigued me. I said, well, our planet is so small, so tiny. How it can go beyond the stars? And I think I answered that hypothetically 10 minutes ago. Now, let's go to the second purpose of the Bosnian pyramid energy. We will need to go to Bosnian underground. Not political, which is very developed, but archaeological. Tunnels, the pyramid. North, west, access plateau, east. We discovered 7 entrances. I'll just talk about one entrance and one tunnel in particular called Ravne tunnels, which we discovered back in 2005. This is how they look like. Now, this material It's natural material. It's called conglomerate. When you have big floods, water brings a lot of material. It brings, pebbles and rocks and sand and bones and dinosaurs and whatever, trees. When water recedes, the heavy stuff remains. Because of very strong pressure, it creates this material called conglomerate. And you see pebbles, rocks, and sand, and then you saw how those concrete blocks look like, the same material. They were digging the tunnels. They got hundreds of thousands of tons of materials, pebbles and rocks. What did they do with that? They mixed it with the melted clay, and they got the best quality concrete. Eco-friendly civilization. No waste. Now, who's this? Now look at the white things that are flying. Orbs. Yes, it's Eric von Däniken, visiting tunnels 10 years ago.
Just let my scientific information be. For 3 days, National Geographic
You see how many orbs?
filming inside the intersection, walls, analysis, narrated,
In the case of our tunnels, usually white, spherical. And they have their own intelligence. They move as they please. And poor Eric, he was 79 years at the time. And he was with me all day long. I was taking him everywhere for hours and hours. And I was talking, and the poor guy is thinking, when am I going to get home? Okay, Mr. Osmanagich, I'll sign. These are the pyramids. Just let me go. Are you done yet? Okay. I'll never come back. And again in the tunnels is my dog Sunny. You see how many orbs with us? All right, orbs, the tunnels. The tunnels, we are finding those big blocks. We've analyzed them. They are made by intelligent hands. They are sitting on those support plates, meaning somebody placed them there. We use georadar, and we know exactly what's inside. There are 3 pieces of bigger quartz crystal. Quartz crystal amplifies the energy.
Did they find any mercury?
No, not yet. 8 tons, 18,000 pounds. We've done measurements. Among other energy forms, we measure the perfect Schumann resonance of 7.83 hertz. This resonance brings us back to the balance. And from 12,000 years back, from the end of the last ice age until 1990s, that was the only resonance of the planet. But then, due to our technology, bad stuff, computers, TVs, tablets, microwaves, mobile phones, satellite dishes, American project, HARP, we got so much bad technology, especially in the cities. They are becoming so contaminated. It's not 7.83 no more. In Sarajevo, the capital city of Bosnia, 400,000 people, it's 12 hertz. Munich, Germany, 15. New York, 18. When we got born, we were born at 7.83 hertz. When we think, if somebody's still doing that, we produce the brain waves at 7.83. So as long as we are the same frequency as our planet, we are in balance. You go to big city, it's a disbalance, which creates stress. So in the tunnels, 7.83. Also, we scan this block. It's ceramic block, artificially made. We can see a lot of dark blue areas, actually indigo. Now, indigo is rather high vibration. What we can see, actually, we can see only 7 colors, as you know. The lowest color, the lowest frequency is red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, and violet. So indigo for us is ideal for the spiritual work. The high frequency, better for our spiritual progress. And indeed, when you sit around this block, you can relax very easy. You can meditate beautifully. You can achieve astral projections much quicker than in other environments. And one of the things we ask people is to open their hands and to try to experience, to feel the energy. 80% of them can do that. Now, we are coming to another terrain. I mentioned spirituality a couple of times. I like always to define things. When I was younger, when I went to school, they were teaching me, spirituality, it's equal to religions. Religion is one thing. Faith is another one. Spirituality, it's another one. For me, spirituality is development of spiritual senses. So we can feel, we can sense the world beyond the physical reality. Of course, physical reality we perceive through 5 physical senses. We can see, we can hear, we can taste, we can smell, we can touch. But what we can see and smell and touch is less than 1% of all what's happening around us. What we can see, those 7 vibrational colors, is 0.7% of everything that's happening around us. Cats, for example, they can see more. Used to have a cat. One night, I'm looking TV, the cat is looking at me. So I'm looking at the cat, and then he was not really looking at me. He was looking like a foot and a half above my head. I'm looking there, I see nothing, but he's, fixing his eyes over there. In a few seconds, he's starting moving his head, like he's following something. I'm looking, I see nothing. Of course, I see nothing because cats can see much more than us. Was he seeing souls or orbs or extraterrestrials? I don't know. But the point is, our senses are so limited. The sound, the same thing. We can hear only sound, 20 hertz to 20 kilohertz. Everything above 20 kilohertz is called ultrasound. And as we are getting older, we hear less and less. 19, 18, 15. And if we are married for 30 years, we don't hear our wives at all. And they don't hear us. But there are instruments to measure 50 kilohertz, megahertz, or gigahertz, or very deep sounds, 10, 8, 5, 2, infrasound. But we have 30 spiritual senses, 30. First 5 are equivalent to our physical senses. We can actually see much more. We can hear much more. And here what we have, we can feel the energy. And that's the first spiritual sense when it comes to the energy. We can feel the tingling in our fingers. The next one, we can see the energy. We can see at least first energy field around our body, which is called auric field. We have 7 of them, about 30 feet around us. That's all us. And then we can see the colors of the energy, the colors of our auric field, the colors of our chakras. And then we can exchange thoughts. Telepathy is a spiritual sense. We have those abilities. Nobody is teaching us to use them. Well, sometimes we can use it. For example, imagine the case. You are a husband coming back home. It's 3 a.m. You are half drunk. You're opening the door. Your wife is sitting, waiting for you. You look at her. She doesn't need to say anything. You know exactly what she's thinking. A telepathy. Telekinesis is also spiritual sense. The power of intention. Why would the original people of America and Australia, after 2 or 3 months, dry month, do the rituals to invite the rain? They were dancing for the rain. And the rain would come. The power of intention. And finally, the teleportation. Movement through space and time. We have that ability also. Imagine this situation. Laying on the couch, your soul leaves the body. And you say, okay, I'd like to see the Cleopatra. Was she really the most beautiful woman ever? And then you go 2,000 years back. You move through space and time, and you're looking at the Cleopatra. And you realize she had a lot of makeup. And then said, okay, now I'd like to see, let's say, Napoleon, 1799. He was conquering Egypt. Let me see if this little general was existing. Then you go there and you can see the guy going to the pyramid, coming back next morning, all in array. And then you think for yourself, hey, my physical body is laying on the couch. Who am I? Okay, I'm a soul. But my intelligence is with my mind, with the physical body, yes. But I can think. So the soul has the intelligence. I can move. I can see, I can hear, I can experience. And then you become aware that you have no limits. No limits. That's the definition of the freedom. Once we realize that we are souls, we become free. And then we realize that we are forever. Not only one life on this planet, which is of course very important, excellent experience, but many lives before and many, many after this one. And then you ask yourself, hey, why should I fear during this life experience? Why should I fear from COVID project? Why should I fear from those guys at the work who are yelling at me or in academia? Why should I listen to those news about the wars and accidents and stuff? Then you realize we need to live the life without the fear. We need to become free. So when you hear so many times that the change starts, not you trying to change the society, but you change yourself. Then you become an example for people around you. You become free with no fear. Our 300, 400, 500 here becomes free. 2,000 people in Eureka Springs. 300 million in this beautiful country. Billions on the planet. And once we are not sheep no more, the politicians and those dark forces behind the curtain will realize there is no one to follow them. And the politics should become what's supposed to be. Service to us, normal, good intentional people. Thank you. This is what the spirituality is for me. In another block, which we called K1, we scan it, a lot of red color, low frequency. However, low frequency penetrates our body, hitting our bloodstream. If the blood flow better, quicker, we are healthier. Now we are coming to the next aspect of pyramid energy, healing aspect. This girl from Slovakia, Veronica, she had the problem with a very low lung capacity. She was using only 47% of her lungs. For 3 years, she was trying to get some help. Mostly doctors who were recommending the pharmaceutical industry products. As we know, the pharmaceutical mafia is not there to heal us. We are not good for them if we are healthy or if we are dead. We have to be sick all our life. So they can sell us as many pills as they can. So after 3 years, no progress. Then she came to our pyramid tunnels. 15 days she spent in Visoko, getting inside 1 hour in the morning, 1 hour in the afternoon. After 15 days, she went back to Bratislava, to Slovakia. She did measurements. Now, from 47, she was using 84%. Before, she could not imagine to walk normally. After 5-10 steps, she had to stop. Doing the stairs, only one at a time. And that September, she came to volunteer with us, and she was pushing the wheelbarrow. The team from Prague with medical nurse was doing like 20 different parameters. This is measurements of the blood pressure. This is the sugar in the blood. In Europe, the way we measure it, if sugar is 3 to 6, normal. 6 to 10, risky. Above 10, diabetes. This guy named Jirka, he was at 7.8. It was a risky group. He spent 45 minutes in the tunnels, came back. It dropped to 5.1, which is normal level. The other guy, Karel, he was at 10.5. That's the borderline. Risky and diabetes. He came back 5.7. Normal. The doctors may argue, well, yes, but he was walking, the sugar is naturally dropping. All right. This guy was at 20, 22. The first entrance dropped to the normal level. There is no pill or treatment or therapy that can lower your sugar from such a high diabetical level to the normal level, the tunnels. This girl from Turkey, she used to have very high blood pressure, reaching 220 over 135. The women know how bad it is, especially for the migraines. For 10 years, she could not find the proper medicine. Well, in the last 9 years, she's been coming to the Bosnian Pyramid tunnels twice a year, and her blood pressure never goes higher than 140 over 90. And then, invisible realm. This is a technology developed by famous Russian geophysicist, Professor Konstantin Korotkov, who comes to our site every couple of years. We purchased his equipment, and this is the auric field before entering the tunnels. As you can see, these continuations heavily damaged. Why? Because of the stress, because of the poisoned food that we eat, because of our poisoned water that we drink. Energy level, 23 joules, balance 89%, left and the right side. And this is after 1 hour spent in the tunnel. Energy field totally recovered. Energy 58, from 23 to 58, balance 100%. Italian doctor Simone Zoccarato was volunteering one season, one summer with us. He's a doctor, he brought his electronic microscope and he was checking the blood, red blood cells and white blood cells. Bottom left, the red blood cells, if they are like this, no bueno. They have to be spherical. Look at this guy, elongated, not good. Look at this one here, one on the top of each other. Same thing here. Pathogenic process. And this is after coming back. Red blood cells, beautifully shaped, all circular. They are not over each other. And those white dots, that's white blood cells. And the red ones have enough room for the white blood cells to attack the toxins. This is a toxin, and get it out of the body. Why is this happening? We always say that our foundation does not deal with the medical treatments. We don't give medical guarantees. But what we do science, we do measurements. We have measured 10 energy properties, really briefly. The first one, the cosmic radiation. We live on the surface of the planet. Every day we are exposed to the cosmic radiations. Some of them are harmful. Our body cells fight those micro enemies. In the tunnels, 70 feet below the ground level, no harmful cosmic radiations. Secondly, natural radioactivity coming from underground. Sometimes we walk the streets and we're not even aware that there are some places with a lot of radioactivity attacking our body. From above, from below, our body cells, 24 hours a day, try to save our health. How do we measure radioactivity? With the instruments called Geiger-Miller counters. No radioactivity in the tunnels. No pathogenic emissions coming from underground water flows or Hartmann intersections or Curie intersections or Schneider intersections. No signal for the cell phone. We talk on the cell phone every day. 3G, bad. 4G, worse. 5G, the worst. Tomorrow, 6G, very, very, very bad. This is a person before talking on the phone. If you see green color and blue, green is always associated with the health, healthy person. And after 15 minutes on the cell phone, you see how much red? And we know when we keep the phone, after 15 minutes, our hands are all warm. Our ears are red. And after 15 minutes, 150,000 brain cells are being dead. 150,000 brain cells. They are burned. Well, some people can argue, well, 150,000, but I have 5 billion, so I'm okay. Well, 150,000, 8 o'clock in the morning, 100,000, 10 o'clock, 100,000, 11 o'clock, 200,000 noon, today 1 million, tomorrow another million. So after a few months, we realize, hey, somehow I process the information slower. I'm not getting any more smarter. In the tunnels, no signal for the cell phone. In the tunnels, no signal for the Wi-Fi. So, without harmful radiations, for the first time in our life, our body cells can start doing their job. What is their job? To fix the problems in our body, to start the regeneration process. Somebody had high blood pressure, somebody has high sugar in the blood, somebody has pains in the back, somebody has tumors, somebody has cancers, somebody has mental problems, somebody has problems in their energy fields. Regeneration process. And these are the first 5 energy properties, no bad radiations. The other 5, only good energies. Engineer from Belgrade, with this instrument, measure original Schumann resonance, which brings us back to the balance, 7.83 Hertz. And then with other instruments, we measured the best frequency of the levitation ultrasound, 28 kilohertz electromagnetism, that's the frequency of our planet. She's our mother. Whatever comes from our mother is good for us. Very high level of orgone energy using this instrument. Series on the scale of 0 to 100. Series 20%, villages 50%, pyramid tunnels 100%. And finally, with this instrument, we measure negative ions. Negative ions are some extra electrons in atom or molecules. So they are negatively charged. They are free in the atmosphere. They need something positively charged. It's like male and female. At least it used to be a long time ago. So, what's positively charged? Dust, pollen, microbes, viruses, if they exist, bacteria, they do exist, fungi. So they connect, they become heavy, they drop to the floor. More negative ions, the cleaner the atmosphere. More negative ions, our body is cleaner. In this conference room, when I started at 2 o'clock, we had about 100 negative ions per cubic centimeter. Right now it's about 70 or 80. When I finish about 2 a.m., it will be about 10 negative ions per cubic centimeter. But we go outside. Oh, it's nice and refreshing. About 300-400. Mountains, pine tree forests, 1,000. Bosnian pyramid tunnels during the summertime, 20 to 60,000 negative ounce per cubic centimeter, 50 times healthier than on the top of the mountain in the forest. And during the winter, even more. In the summer, more tourists, negative ounce cleaning our bodies. In the winter, less tourists. Last February, we reached the peak of 340,000 negative ounce per cubic centimeter, the biggest ever recorded on the planet. And this is what we call science. Once you put all those elements together, those tunnels under the pyramids in Bosnia are the safest and the healthiest place on the planet, and we can see regeneration going on. So now look how it's becoming so logical. Communication device, spirituality, health. Number 4, water. We discovered tunnels with the water. They've been exposed to the pyramid energy for the longest times, for thousands and thousands of years. We took samples from these tunnels and analyzed them. Conventional analysis, microbiological, chemical, it's healthy. pH perfect, 7.45, that's the pH of our blood. And sent the samples to the famous late Dr. Masaru Emoto in Japan. He became famous from 1990s when he was freezing different samples of water, and then he was looking at them through electronic microscope, making the photos, every sample different molecular structure. This is the tap water from New York City. The same thing here. In Arkansas or in any other countries, the city water has been treated. So no nice formal molecular structure at all. Why? Because, it's been treated with the chlorine. They are saying, well, chlorine is good because it kills viruses, bacteria, but chlorine is a poison. All our life we drink poisons. All our life we cook on poison. All our life we take shower with the poison. Secondly, in some countries they add fluoride. They say, well, fluoride is good because it protects your teeth. Oh, really? It actually causes the teeth diseases. But not only that. Until 50 years back, fluoride was exclusively poison for rats. For rats. That's how strong it is. When we drink fluoride with the water, or when we brush our teeth with the fluoride, so next time you go to Walmart, wherever, to buy the toothpaste, no fluoride, without the fluoride. So when we get it in our body, it attacks our brain cells and it closes our pineal gland. The most important and the smallest pineal gland in our body, which is our window to spirituality. So what they do, they closes our way to freedom. That's why spirituality is so important. So our city water, chlorine, fluoride, which is obligatory in the UK, Republic of Ireland, Australia, New Zealand, Canada, most of the US. One of the first measures of Bobby Kennedy Jr. was remove fluoride from the water. Argentina, Chile. The third, heavy metals. We catch the water somewhere at the springs, it's going through metal pipes, melting the metal, of course. This is what we drink. Coming to our kitchens through the plastic pipes, melting the plastic, which has become the leading cause for cancers. Plastic has been found in the heart, like never before, or the brain. So what we drink is energetically dead. If you think that this is better, think twice. Not only because of additional plastic. Two biggest bottling companies in the world are two soda companies from the US. Majority is not through the soda drinks that they sell us, which is very bad, but through the water. That's how they make money. They add aluminum, very bad for our brain, bromium, barium, other heavy metals. Why? that's a different lecture. So, this is why our water is energetically dead. This is the water from the dam in Japan. On micro level, bad. This is the water from the fresh water lake, the largest one in Japan. Looking nice, blue, but it's contaminated. Look at the molecular structure. This is the city water from the town of Visoko, where the pyramids are, but the city water, treated water, also bad. And this is the molecular structure of the pyramid water. We sent it to Japan 10 years ago. At that time, you could send the liquid to the post office. Now, not anymore. You bring the water, they're saying, oh, terrorist. Well, anyway, we sent the water. It went to the Sarajevo International Airport, Röntgen rays. It went through Frankfurt, Germany, airport, Röntgen. It went through Narita in Tokyo, airport, Röntgen. So every time it goes through bad influence, it kind of damages the structure, but it still retained the beautiful hexagonal structure with the most wonderful crystal-like structure. Just by looking at the molecular structure, you can say, yes, this is energetically alive. It's a happy water. It vibrates high. What does it mean, vibrates high? They never taught us in schools about vibrations. Well, Nikola Tesla said, you want to find the secrets of the universe. You look them through energy, frequencies, and vibrations. Energy. Well, pyramids amplify the energies. The pyramids creates very specific frequencies that we can measure. The pyramids generates high vibrations. Is it time yet? Okay, give me a few more minutes. I'm almost done. Vibration. This is the guy before entering the Pyramid Valley. This is after the tunnels, you see energy level, after the water, green, after going to the beam on the top of the pyramid of the sun. You see the chakras, before the pyramid water, not open, after the pyramid water, 4 times more open. This nice woman, 94 years old, before entering the tunnels, she came to me, she said, hey, I heard that tunnels are good. I said, well, yes, people are talking about it. She said, are they going to help me? I said, why don't you go inside and see for yourself? She went inside with our official guide, came back after 1 hour. Every year we organize volunteers at our locations, June till October. You can find the flyer with the website downstairs, and I think you had it on the desk here. They've been doing a wonderful job helping us to clean the pyramids. In the last 15 years, almost 4,000 of them from 64 countries and 6 continents. Number of visitors, 2008, 10,000 people came to our site without a penny from the government. 2018, 40,000. 2023, 195,000. Last year, 250,000. So we are living proof that you can succeed without the government help. Once a year, and only once a year, I host a group, international groups. This year, and like last year, it will be summer solstice, tour, conference, festival. This year, besides me, Michael Tellinger of South Africa, Valery Uvarov, pyramid builder from Russia, Klaus Dona, Out of Place Artifacts, Austria, Ken Cherry, MUFON, Texas, and Dr. JJ and Desiree Hertak. My free books to read, booksbydrsam.com, booksbydrsam.com. And finally, I spent all my savings from Houston. I purchased neglected, muddy, swampy land. In a couple of years, we've transformed it into the most beautiful park in Europe, which has become the regional, cultural, and stress-free oasis. Every year, tens of thousands of kids, they come for free, they park for free, they play for free. We even clean after they leave. Concerts for free. I pay all these superstars, but I have this for free for all my visitors. I want to bring the freedom back to the people. And this is how the park looks like.
What is the miracle in Bosnia, the transformation of neglected, muddy, swampy land
This is how it looked like.
into one of the most beautiful parks in Europe. The archaeological discoveries,
Tunnel.
sports, culture, art, labyrinths of love and energy, more than 60 different installations. Very exciting.
Labyrinth of Love. Sculptors. 65 installations. True history. Love, peace, freedom, our official flag. Children, they are future. Folklore. When we were opening the tennis courts, which I started building without the money, loans, and eventually I finished it, the best tennis player ever, Novak Djokovic, came to open it. And for people from my region, they know how powerful this message of our sincere friendship is. For far too long, we've been fighting each other, hatred, no cooperation. We are saying there are other ways, cooperation and friendship. 20 years ago, we started, the last slide, we started as the archaeological project, expanding to science, spirituality, healing, energy, culture, sports, nutritionism, what we eat, what we think, what we drink. Instead of new Western values, transhumanism, biochip under our skin, so we are fully controlled, 24 hours a day. GMO trash, food, poisoned water. We are saying no. The future is in harmony among us and harmony with the nature. Thank you very much.